wrestling fans, and welcome back to 10 Count. I'm Steve Fall, but on today's edition, I am honored, I am privileged, I am talking to the only man who can go by this name. It's the Ultimo Dragon. How are you doing today?
How are you?
Dude, I am honored, I am privileged. I would curtsy, I would tip my hat if I was wearing one. This is a great day to be a wrestling fan talking to you right now. And let's jump into some questions because obviously you're a busy, busy man. But right now in professional wrestling, there are so many wrestling companies doing well. Recently in AEW, the Great Muta showed up. Could we see you in AEW someday?
Que si un día te puede ver en AEW.
No?
He doesn't know. He says he doesn't know. He's not sure. He said he'd like to, but he's not sure.
Oh, man. I would love it so much. But you're also in the WWE only for about a year. Why do you think your run in the WWE only lasted a short amount of time?
¿Por qué piensas que tu tiempo en WWE solamente fue un año?
Porque la compañía quiere cambiar mi imagen. Sí, yo pedí permiso, ¿no?, para salir. Y nada más ahí quedó.
WWE wanted to change his image and his look and remove who he was. So he requested, to leave because he wanted to maintain who he was. He stayed. There was no bad terms, but he wanted to be who he was and did not want to change who he was.
Did they want to remove your mask?
Así es.
Yes, they wanted to take his mask off.
See, that's interesting because they were hiring a lot of luchadors at the time, like Rey Mysterio, but yet they would allow him to keep his mask, but they wanted to change yours. What did they give you a reason? Why?
¿Te dieron razón por qué?
No, yo la verdad no sé, ¿no? Pero también me gustó la idea, ¿no? Y la verdad me gustó la idea y lo que pienso yo, ¿no? Que para aquel tiempo estaba muy fuerte, ¿no? Apenas empezando, ¿no?
Sí.
Entonces, me imaginé que ellos no querían tener una imagen parecida, que pues, es decisión de empresa, está bien. Por eso yo pregunté, ¿no? Yo pedí permiso, ¿no? Pero está bien, así.
He said he wasn't against the idea, but they had a lot of ideas for him to remove his mask. They just figured it was something that would be better for them and him, but he was open to it, but there wasn't something really there for it. So once nothing concrete was there, so what they said is, being that Rey Mysterio was so popular, they didn't see a need to have two masked wrestlers. So they wanted to keep Mysterio as the only masked and then remove him from being masked. And he says he understands. He's like, I understand as a promoter, I understand why. And I agree with them, but it wasn't what I wanted to do.
So interesting, because there are a lot of tall guys, a lot of short guys, big guys, small guys, but they thought having two masked men was too much?
Correct.
For a marketing standpoint, for me, selling masks is money. Masks equal money. With two wrestlers with a mask, more money. Do you agree?
Pues mira, eso es todo decisión del patrón. Yo no puedo decir nada, ¿no? ¿Se me entiende?
He says in the end, it's their company, and they have their own decisions on how they want to make it work. And I will follow suit. I'm their employee, their employer, so I'll do what they need me to do.
Eso debe de ser luchador. O sea, lo que debe escuchar.
And that's how every wrestler should be: is listen to what the boss wants and do. Obviously, if it doesn't work for you, then you can discuss. But in the end, without the boss, then there's no work and there's no wrestlers.
This is true. This is true. Good point. Were you guaranteed or promised anything when you did sign with the WWE?
¿Te prometieron algo cuando firmaste con ellos? ¿Te prometieron algo cuando firmaste con el contrato con WWE? No, there was nothing promised. It was a good, contract to come wrestle, but there's nothing. He says while his time was there, he was treated very well. He learned a lot, from being there. So he has nothing but good times while he was there.
Nice. Now, now this is an interesting question now, because do you kind of feel underappreciated there's a whole bunch of fans who appreciate you, but then there's the WWE side of things that kind of change history sometimes and don't talk about you as much. Do you feel underappreciated by a certain demographic of wrestling fan?
¿Sientes que cierta gente luchísticamente no te aprecian por tu tiempo en WWE?
No, pero pues yo aprendí muchas cosas con él.
He says for him, it was more on his end. It's not about the fans not appreciating him. He definitely appreciated the time he was there because it definitely taught him a lot of things as he moved forward.
No, of course that. It's more of a question of, do you feel underappreciated by fans in general, because there are hardcore wrestling fans who will always appreciate your in-ring skills versus a different company that will never highlight your achievements because you didn't achieve them there?
Si crees que el fanático americano no te aprecia como otros, porque el tiempo con WWE no fue tan fuerte y tan exitoso como podía haber sido.
Sí, es que, o sea, es como, mira, a mí no me tocó buena fama, o sea, eso pasa en la vida, ¿no? Entonces, para mí yo aprendí mucho en backstage y yo la verdad disfruté y pues, no sé para Wrestling Fan, pero para mí fue un gran placer, ¿no? Trabajar con ellos.
He says he really can't, answer those fans' questions for them. That's for them to decide. But he definitely understands that things could have been, a bit different. But in the overall, he feels strongly that his time there, whether or not utilized in a ring as much as he would have wanted to, he definitely did learn a lot of things backstage that did affect him moving forward.
Yes, that probably would be the case. Though when you were in WCW, who was your favorite opponent?
¿Quién era tu favorito oponente en WCW?
Son muchos.
Said too many to name. Too many.
Because anytime you were in the ring, it was a guaranteed good match. And that's hard for a wrestler to go in the ring and always have a good match. Was that always your purpose? Obviously, you want to have a good match, but are you aware of how good you really are?
Que si sabes qué tan bueno de veramente estarías en el ring. Sabes qué tan bueno que saldrías, luchabas tan bueno en WCW.
Steve Regal estaba y también Tim Malenko. Los dos eran luchadores, fue muy fuerte.
He says guys like Malenko and Regal were much better, and those were the guys that you guys should have been looking out for, not him.
Wow. A humble man. I agree, they're great, but anytime we saw you on camera, it was always going to be a good match. Though, moving on though, in every single video game you've ever been in, you're always the best character. You have the best move set. How do you feel about knowing that every single person who plays WCW or WWE or any wrestling video game that you're in, they pick you first because you have the best move set?
Cuando estabas tú en los juegos de videojuegos, que tú siempre eres el favorito de todos, porque
Sí.
tus movimientos siempre son los más favoritos y los más bonitos que hacer en los juegos. ¿Qué sientes con la gente que te aprecia tanto que siempre te escogen en el videojuego?
Sí. Para mí es un orgullo, ¿no?
He says it's very honorable, and it makes him feel it's very.
Pero yo no sabía.
He says very humbling. He says that's the first time he's ever heard of that, Izo, and he's very
Oh.
thankful to hear that because it's the first time he's ever heard of that. But he said he's very blessed and very thankful for that.
Wow, because I think we're on the 25 or 30-year anniversary of WCW versus NWO, the video game. And again, I had that, and it was like, oh, who do you pick? You obviously pick you every single time. So I do appreciate that from you because, again, let him know that his moveset is outstanding, and every kid who played those video games picked you first.
Cada juego tenía Ultimo Dragon, que siempre es el favorito y primero cogían. He says thank you very much.
Now, with your historic career, do you think that at one point you'll be inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame? Because there have been wrestlers who were inducted that really didn't do anything in the WWE, but now it's become kind of like a wrestling Hall of Fame. Do you think you'll ever be inducted?
¿Tienes pensamientos que tú crees que un día llegues a que te metan en el Hall of Fame de WWE?
Eso no sé.
¿Tienes ganas de estar en el WWE Hall of Fame?
Es un me gustaría.
He says, you never know. It's not his call, but if it was something that you're asking, would he like to be in the Hall of Fame? He says, yes, he definitely would like to be in the WWE Hall of Fame.
Yes, I think it needs to happen 100%. Though, and if you did get inducted into the Hall of Fame, who would you like to be the person who inducts you yourself?
Si llegas a la meta que llegas al WWE Hall of Fame, ¿quién quisieras que fuera que te presentara al Hall of Fame?
No sé.
He said that's hard to answer. He said that's a big question.
Oh, well, we're here for an interview. I asked the big questions. We need the big answers. Who would be it?
¿Quién puede ser?
No sé.
He says he can't. He says too many to go by.
Oh my. Well, then there'll be a very large stage for all the people that he wants to be inducting him into the WWE Hall of Fame, but it certainly will happen. Let's talk about your outside projects. What do you got going on right now? Because every time I talk to one of your close friends, I hear about video games. I hear about motion capturing. Can we talk about that?
Dice que estás haciendo el momento, estás haciendo juegos, estás trabajando otras cosas, eventos, todo. ¿Qué está pasando en tu vida ahorita luchísticamente?
No estoy luchando en Japón más. Sí.
¿Y los videojuegos?
Videojuegos, no sé. Solamente contigo, no sé.
He says, right now, basically, most of his wrestling is taking place in Japan. So he's keeping busy there. And then with the video games, currently right now, we just finished doing motion capture with Ultimo Dragon for a virtual basements game, the wrestling code. And so that just finished this week. So that probably be the next game that will feature Ultimo Dragon, where people can finally get back in and start choosing those games again with a modern twist, with Ultimo Dragon being a part of that.
Is there a release date? Am I supposed to go and pre-order? Like, give me the details.
So as far as release dates and so on, we haven't been privy to that, but Ultimo Dragon will be part of the initial loading first release of the game for Virtual Basement. So I'm sure they can give you that answer, but Ultimo Dragon will be in the first initial release of the game before any other updates come on. He will be featured in the game as well.
Oh, man. For one final question before I let you go, I know you're a very busy man. Will we see you back in a WWE ring or an AEW? I know I asked about AEW, but you were in WWE. Will we ever see you back in the ring one more time?
Quisieras ganas de regresar una vez más a WWE? He would. He said he would love to go back at least one more time. It's something he would definitely be into doing at least one more time.
Now, since you said that, I gotta go one more step. Who would you want to wrestle if you could have one more match in the WWE? There's so much talent. Roman Reigns, Mysterio is still there. There's so much.
He says real easy, Jericho.
Oh, man. So you will go to AEW and fight Chris Jericho. Oh, my. Oh, my. Folks, the headlines are here. They've been written in stone. Ultimo Dragon versus Chris Jericho, AEW. Book it, Tony Khan. Book it right now.